For Your Eyes Only can be adequately summarized in a quote from the film's director, John Glenn. We had gone as far as we could into space. We needed a change of some sort, back to the grassroots of Bond. We wanted to make the new film more of a thriller than a romp, without losing sight of what made Bond famous, his humor. Scaling back quite a bit and making a few key changes behind the scenes as well. 1981's 12th 007 outing, For Your Eyes Only, attempted to bring Bond, as Glenn stated, back to his thriller roots, focusing on a small-scale revenge plot and shying away from gadgets as well as keeping the jokes to an acceptable minimum. The last Bond film to be released solely by United Artists before their merger with MGM, it went on to gross $195 million worldwide from a budget of just $28 million, and became the second highest grossing 007 film of the time, behind only its predecessor, Moonraker. Once again starring Roger Moore as an aging Bond, this time around we are introduced to Melina, played by the stunning French actress Carole Bouquet, and Julian Glover as the suave villain Aristotle Christatos. You're listening to Bondcast, James Bondcast. My name is Matt McGregor, and on this month's episode, my co-host Harris McCabe, Colin Shaw, and I will be diving headfirst into Roger Moore's fifth outing as James Bond 007 in For Your Eyes Only. Awesome track.
Yes.
Chris is not here tonight. R.I.P. Joining us tonight.
You know he's still alive.
Joining us tonight is Clark Harris. He doesn't have a microphone. But how you doing, Clark?
Never better.
No relation, by the way.
He's never been better than this.
Doesn't
No
get any
relation.
better than this.
So this fucking movie, what'd you guys think?
Oh, we jumping right into what I think?
Jumping right in. Well, say hello first.
Hi.
Hi. Why we said it at the same time?
You go first.
Okay. Hello.
Hi. No, just kidding. Go.
Hello. It's me, Colin Shaw, your friend.
Hi, it's Harris. I think things and say them into this microphone.
Yeah, well, For Your Eyes Only. It's 1981. Roger Moore, this is a hot five for him. Coming off Moonraker, the best Bond film thus far.
Now you're just trolling me. Just stop it. We also have director John Glenn, the longtime editor of the Bond franchise, taking over the director's role there.
Yeah, it's his first time, right? You said
Yeah,
that?
this is the first time as director.
He said that.
Yeah.
But he goes on to do several more. I think he does all the ones that took place in the 80s, actually.
Oh, yeah, that is correct.
And this had a budget of $28 million, box office of $195. So it's actually cheaper than Moonraker, made almost as much money. Interesting, this is sort of like a little background that you guys may or may not know, but sort of a film history background. United Artists is a studio that was founded by the silent film stars that was coming off its most profitable year ever in 1979. Moonraker, huge hit. Rocky II, huge hit. Manhattan, huge hit.
Rocky 2.
It
I only
was-
want you to do one thing. What is it, Adrian? Win.
I'm choking up here. I'm getting
This has
teary.
been Movie Quotes with Colin.
But anyways, 79 is one of the most profitable years ever, and then the next year they bring out Heaven's Gate, a notoriously terrible movie that bombed so huge that it pretty much bankrupted the company. The only way it was saved from complete disaster,
Bond.
James Bond. This movie came through, scored a huge win for them, and made them profitable enough that MGM was willing to buy them this year. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. United Artists started as the silent film stars making their own.
yeah, that was it. It was let's see, Charlie Chaplin, Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford.
Wow.
Yep. And they decided to make their own studio, and then Michael Cimino's one bomb almost killed the whole thing off.
Yeah, I didn't know what that
60
movie.
years
I
ago.
read about this. I didn't know what that movie was, and I was very surprised. Like, it's about, what was it called? The something war. It's like a bunch of cattle ranchers like trying to kill immigrants in Montana.
Mm-hmm. And he was coming off of The Deer Hunter, which was a surprise hit,
Yeah.
kind of, and basically they said, here, take all the money and make something else that's prestigious, and everyone will love it. And it did not work. We also have we say goodbye to another Bond regular, our buddy Ken Adams, for the first time in I think a long time, if not. I don't know if it was the run of the series.
He didn't die,
but
though, right?
No. He actually, what was he doing? He did another. He did Pennies from Heaven, the musical with Steve Martin and Christopher Walken, and Bernadette Peters, which actually is not that bad, and it looks great.
I would watch that based on your review,
Just based
but
on
I have
that
not
cast
watched
and me
it.
saying it's not that bad. Well, I've already oversold it, I think. So let me back off that just a little bit and say, okay.
Before we jump into this movie, I think we need to talk about one of the more memorable aspects of it, which is this sweet poster.
Oh, the poster.
I love the poster for this movie.
Did you read what was it like? Some Canadian province was like, we're gonna rate this X because of your poster.
Yeah, every once in the world it's a PG movie.
Oh, Saskatchewan, right?
Saskatchewan.
They couldn't handle it.
Oh, this is
So
rated
for those
X.
of you who don't know, it's a woman in a bathing suit,
It's a
I think. Bikini, yeah, but it's on backwards. You know?
Yeah, I read that
So
part.
her butt cheeks are hanging right out.
Her butt cheeks are hanging out more so than they normally would.
Basically, it's the invention of the thong, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And I'm not willing to
But
research
that's not a
that.
true thong. It's like there's a word for that. It's some kind of cut. The something
The backwards bathing suit cut, I
Yeah.
believe it's
The
called.
Bond cut. Let's
Yeah.
call it that.
And of course, James Bond is between her legs, where he is most comfortable.
Cut.
Yes.
It's a cheeky cover, you might say.
Yeah, it's very cheeky.
Yeah, and it's also very iconic. It's one of the more memorable ones in the franchise.
Yeah,
And
I
it
think this
still has
era,
the stuff on the side is still like very much like the other ones where you get
Yeah.
like little moments
artwork,
from
yeah.
characters and stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
there's like stuff exploding and people jumping out of shit, and
It's a good poster.
I do think it's aesthetically, it's like not very, just because of the layout of it. There's a lot of empty space around the girl's legs, and then we've got like these little things like on the border of either side. I don't know. I'm not a big fan, but
I personally think that this era of posters are my favorite.
Yeah.
For this whole series.
Yeah.
I think the posters that they have now are disgraceful.
well, now it's just giant face,
Yeah.
title.
It's
So
it's-
boring.
Yeah, they're afraid to take chances. I mean, not that I guess they were probably not afraid. They were probably afraid to take chances here, but at least the style that they were going for, the stuff that was selling was better. It was like awesome scene of some guy doing something crazy, and a bunch of shit exploding all around
Yeah.
him.
Now it's like, Craig standing there and like blue
Yeah,
and like some color.
Or black. Or
Black, blue,
White.
orange, white.
yeah. It's pretty boring.
Yeah.
But all right. Enough about the
Oh,
posters.
that's something that's cool about that. I have a cool book, and it has all the each time. If you go to the back, it has all the movies, like a whole page about each movie, and each one of those has the poster.
Oh, nice.
that is the James Bond Encyclopedia,
Yeah, the encyclopedia
updated edition.
updated to Skyfall.
So it is not
quite
fully
enough.
updated.
Yeah,
But it's pretty sweet. It's a
Yeah,
big
this-
book.
The price just dropped on this.
It's a big book with big pictures, which is like
Colin's
something
favorite.
that I prefer.
Do they pop out?
I wish. Oh, a Bond's
first
pop-up
Bond
book?
book.
That'd be so cool.
You want to talk about the gun barrel sequence, which is the same, but does
No.
it seem like his pant legs are somehow becoming more flared? Every time I watch this, I'm like, are his pants like
The bell-bottom tuxedo is so noticeable.
I refuse to talk about it because it's been the same one for the last 8 movies.
But seriously, I feel like they're like somehow going in and expanding those bell bottoms, just the bottoms of them.
It's CGI. They
Yeah,
went
it's-
back
they
and
actually did.
George Lucas
Yes.
did years later.
Yeah,
They're like, it's the 70s. People need to know. But sir, it's the 80s now. Silence, you fool.
All right.
Lucas's private project to alter these films that he's not really related to with computer graphics for the sake of his sentiments about bell bottoms.
Yeah, the 70s couture.
Fuck the gun barrel. Let's talk about the cold open.
Let's talk about the cold.
Probably one of the more exciting / ridiculous parts of this whole movie.
Oh god.
I think it's the worst cold open of like any of the movies.
I'm so glad that I'm not gonna have to fight you to death on this, Colin.
It's the worst. The only cool part is that they acknowledge that Bond has a dead wife.
First of all, what does this have to do with anything? It was like,
It doesn't have to do with any of the rest of the movie at all.
So the backstory is that they have the. So
Well,
what
before you
happens-
jump into the backstory, let's just
you
describe
can
it.
describe it.
So Bond is standing at the grave of his wife, his ex-wife,
Teresa
Teresa
Bond.
Bond. And so it's the first time that we're acknowledging a previous movie's plotline.
The epitaph.
It was
is,
hinted at in-
We have all the time in the world.
It was hinted at in an earlier one. What was that? Live and Let Die, or one of them?
Yeah,
Spy Who Loved
the
Me.
first
It was
Moore
Spy
one.
Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved Me. Yeah.
And the priest comes out and he says, "Bond, they've just phoned for you. They're sending a helicopter. It's an emergency." And he says, "It
always
usually is." Or it always is, right? So the helicopter comes, picks him up. The helicopter pilot is killed from elsewhere, and we realize
He's
that
electrocuted through his
headset.
Be careful,
Which doesn't
Clark.
look real.
Yeah.
It looks super fake and crappy.
It's revealed that Blofeld is controlling the helicopter via remote control.
But it's not really Blofeld because they cannot say that it's
Well,
Blofeld, and
it
we
is
do not see
Blofeld,
his face.
But they do not use the name Blofeld. Go on.
Right, but
We'll
it's
talk
in
about
every other way. He's got the cat that he pets.
He's got the Nehru
He's got the
jacket.
Nehru jacket.
neck brace.
He's got the bald head, neck
Which is like
brace.
his neck hasn't healed since 1969.
Yeah. Well, he's in a wheelchair, for God's sakes. Clearly it was a pretty serious injury.
But he was still able to kill Teresa. Like days
He
after
recovered
it
fast
happened.
then. It's sometimes neck and back
That's true.
injuries.
That is true.
They come back a few days later.
That is true.
Instead of outright killing Bond, he like toys with him and flies the helicopter up and down and all around and through a building.
Instead of into the ocean or the ground or like any of the to see him do it, it's harder to crash an elevator or a helicopter than it is to like run it properly.
Yeah.
Even though he's on a rooftop and he could see the helicopter and he could see that Bond is like climbing out the door and doing up to something, you know, like you would think,
It's like, don't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Right. So needless to say, Bond makes his way to the cockpit. He pulls out a wire which controls the remote, and he gains control of the helicopter. He flies it and scoops up Blofeld, who is in a wheelchair with the, what do you call that? Like
The landing gear.
landing
Well, no, it's like a ski.
landing ski. He pulls up the wheelchair and then he drops him into a giant chimney, killing him once and for
Smokestack.
all. Smokestack, yeah.
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 This scene
Which
sucks
is essentially
so
a
bad.
giant chimney.
So the reason
Hold
that they're doing
on. We need to talk about this.
Oh, we will talk about this.
Don't correct me.
The entire point of this scene is because another guy, what's his name? Kevin McClory?
McClory, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
McElroy. McAvoy.
McGillicuddy.
So this guy, Kevin McClory, owned the rights to one Bond book. Thunderball.
The script to the movie,
script,
right?
Yeah. So he owned the rights to that, and because Spectre and Blofeld were mentioned in them, he said that he had the rights to those characters, and
He
sued. The case was not settled at this time, but Cubby Broccoli and the people who are making the Bond movies decided we don't need Blofeld and Spectre. It's not called Blofeld and Spectre. It's called James Bond. Right. So screw it. We just won't use these anymore. But then as sort of a little middle finger to Kevin McClory, they felt the need to kill off this character. Of course, they couldn't use his name, but they did it sort of, which I have to say, it's like a baller move by them to just spend like tons of money to film the sequence just to say fuck you to this dude.
I think they scripted the sequence thinking they were going to hire a new Bond also.
So it was like a callback to earlier movies to connect them. But in the end, it's like there's so much wrong with this. There's so much stupid about this. First of all, why does Blofeld have an Italian accent?
The worst voice actor.
He never had an Italian
Worst.
accent ever before. Now he's complaining about a deli or something. It's just,
The
let's get to
delicatessen
that.
thing is stupid.
it's so dumb. Oh, just
So
it's so
yeah,
dumb.
what they're talking about is like one of the biggest oddities of this whole scene is so eventually when Bond gains control of the helicopter, and he lifts up Blofeld in the wheelchair. Blofeld starts begging for his life. Please don't kill me. Don't do this. And one of the strangest things he says is, "I'll buy you a delicatessen in stainless steel."
It's one of the only things he says.
Yeah.
That's his first notion when pleading for his life is that.
Which is apparently an inside joke that Cubby Broccoli's family knew of from some Italian gangsters or something.
Still,
But
why would you put that into...
It actually makes sense because this entire stupid thing is an inside joke. So why not just layer on the inside jokes that I don't get and are completely pointless?
Like,
How does it make sense to like put that many inside jokes in the beginning of a motion picture where
If-
you're
if-
like
if-
a
totally
worldwide motion picture that people are going to
If
see
you're
in
going to
every
commit to
culture.
dumb
Major
inside
release.
jokes, I guess commit all the way.
This is a major release, and you're making like
the
10
first
minutes of
2
it
minutes.
for like 6 people.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's a dumb sequence. What makes it even dumber, beyond all of that, is that they also have 2 kind of cold opening sequences that happen immediately following the credits.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's not like they were
always, I
starved
feel.
for ways to
Easily
open
use the boat exploding
It's not
as
like
the
they
cold open.
were starved for ways to open
Yeah.
this movie. They had 2 other options, and
Well, it was supposed to be the boat exploding, and then
That's what it
like,
should have been.
she looks up and it like pushes into her eyes, and the eye was supposed to be. It's called For Your Eyes Only, so it was.
Yeah.
The eyes were going to morph into the title,
which would have made
sequence.
so
with
much more sense.
Wait, with whose eye? With Melina's eyes?
Melina's eyes. Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about the boat with the ATAC on it exploding. That
Oh,
could have been
yeah.
the cold
They
open.
also
that's
have
true.
that.
That was cool.
But it would have been that would have been a good. They had a good idea for a cold open, and they dished it to do this stupid thing. Ugh. And also, terrible,
has great eyes.
Terrible
She does.
pun where when he decides that he's going to kill Bond, he's had enough toying with him. Instead of crashing the helicopter directly into the ground, he flies it into a opening of a building and says, "I hope you've had a pleasant fright." And in his Italian accent,
God,
he
that
rolls
guy's
the R
bad.
low.
He's so
I
bad.
Hope you have a pleasant fright.
Yeah, like why?
It's
Like
just
why is he suddenly like an animatronic outside of a shitty Halloween, spooky house?
Yeah.
Halloween store, not even a haunted house.
Yeah, like a pop-up seasonal store in the strip mall somewhere.
Halloween Town. Or
Oh man, it's
It's
got some
terrible.
great helicopter stunt flying in it though. They could fly that helicopter.
They fly the
whoever
hell out
was
of the
actually
Yeah,
flying
and
it.
it's cool. You could see that the guy hanging onto the side of it, that's real. So they always
Yeah.
do their stunts like pretty real, you know.
It's
Yeah.
the worst cold open though, and it
I'm
hurts
glad-
the movie.
I'm glad we seem to be on the same page because this was like such a just an inauspicious start to this.
I'm
I
glad
will-
they acknowledge his wife though.
I
That's
think
nice.
this movie is bookended by shitty scenes. So you've got this
Yeah.
opening, and then we'll talk about the final scene too. But we'll get to that later. So yeah, now
we're on
let's
to the
song.
titles.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if he was like at the cemetery and then the guy comes up and he's like, "Oh, it's an emergency," and he got like that little line where he's like, "It always is" or whatever, and like, he's got the flowers and he drops them and it's like time to go back to work, but then like it's like, "Oh, silly helicopter, I'm gonna kill you." Fright! I'm a Halloween animatronic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's silly, but
we're
it's
just beating a dead horse here at this
Yeah.
point.
Okay.
We just got to move on to the titles.
yeah.
We gotta move on.
So the titles I thought were great.
Maurice Binder again.
Maurice Binder.
our
It's the
old
first
buddy.
time that you actually see someone singing the song.
That would
it's
be
Sheena
Scottish
Easton,
singer Sheena Easton.
who's beautiful, and the song is great.
And Binder insisted on getting her to do it because he liked her look.
She's got kind of like a Gozer destroyer.
She does look
yeah,
like Gozer
yeah.
the Destroyer.
I would say I
in a
thought
very good
I
way.
think the song is actually like kind of drippy and forgettable.
What?
I love the title sequence, but it's just I mean it was good. It was good. It was like seeing as they're all kind of the same now with the nude silhouettes and the superimposed over abstract shots. In this case, it's water and bubbles and fish and shit, and of course Sheena Easton
And tits, don't forget that.
Yes, and tits.
And you see tons of nips in this one.
Yes, you do. But seeing as he's got his gimmick and he just sort of goes to it every time. This was one of the better executed ones, and I like the abstract shots that they filmed it over, and I loved everything about it. This song is whatever.
I read about them making this to get to. He wanted to record her in like on 70 millimeter or whatever, so he had to put her head in a big clamp to get her face as like in those sequences, like so we could see.
Oh yeah, because if she
Sheena
moved
Easton's
even
face.
slightly, it would go like
Yeah,
blurry,
it would
right?
motion blur.
Motion blur, yeah.
And he put her head in a big clamp. She was like, it was really painful, but I got my face in there.
They had to like hide it behind her hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gozer hair.
Gozer the Gozerian. Cool, yeah, but I think the song is great. I'm surprised you feel that way. It was nominated
like
for an
it.
Oscar. It's like one of those
They
maybe
all get
5
nominated
songs
for
that
an
I think are still popular today, or not popular, but still like recognized. You know,
It's
like,
recognized, but I mean, all the Bond songs are recognized, even the terrible ones.
I mean, this is like leaps and bounds better than the last song. I'll give it that.
What was the last
Moonraker.
one? Oh yeah.
I don't even remember
Wait.
how Moonraker.
Oh, but
goes.
Moonraker did have what Basie, right? Shirley Basie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
Um,
But it had
yeah.
that going for it. I this is like a really vocal heavy song, but her voice is really good.
Yeah.
She's got a good voice. I'm just saying, I think the song's kind of slow and
The if you think that, you're in danger of Gozer coming for you. Like, choose your form, buddy.
If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. All right, this has been Ghostbusters podcast.
Yeah, let's see if we can fit a couple more quotes from movies that aren't this one.
Oh, what if
you
the
actually gonna
next
try to
what if
fit
the
quotes
next what if the next Bond is very like Ghostbustery?
that would be Matt's theory of the this is why A View to a Kill had all the Ghostbusters in it. Matt's theory of that hot thing that happens in the public consciousness immediately gets thrown into the next Roger Moore
Bond
movie.
25, Bond v Ghosts.
They just bring him into the supernatural. All right, here we go. Colin's going to summarize the plot. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, we start out on like a fishing boat, and they're like fishing, and a guy goes in, and he's like going into this boat deeper and deeper, and then all of a sudden, it's a secret British base inside the boat, and they got this like thing that somebody's handcuffed to. All of a sudden, they run into a mine. It explodes. Everyone dies. It's horrific. Cut to James Bond. He's like got the mission now. The thing that was on the boat is super important, and he's got to find it. And it's at the bottom of the ocean. Their main lead is the Havelocks. They're these people who have a boat and they find stuff, and they probably found it. So we cut to them. They get straight up murdered right in front of their daughter, who happens to be smoking hot. And then what was next?
You're in like the second scene. There you
No,
go.
I'm there. Cut to Bond goes to
Hitman Party.
Cut to Bond goes to the hitman. He's like going in, but then shit goes to hell, and the hot woman's there, and she kills him, kills the hitman. They run away. They're in a like mad car chase. They get out of there. Then Bond goes to Italy. He's got to contact his contact there about what's going down. Because he found out that the hitman was paid by this other guy. He's got to investigate that. He talks to his contact there. He's like, oh, there's this bad guy out there, and like they're working together, and this is bad. And then the girl shows up.
Guy
again.
with he meets
What are
a
you
good guy
doing?
in
You
LA.
can't interrupt.
I'm just
You're interrupting me. All right, so he says there's a bad guy out there called the Dove, and then also we meet BB, who's a figure skater. Then Bond gets chased a lot more. People try to kill him a lot more times. It turns out the Dove is a good guy. They team up and they take down the bad guy, who takes the ATAC from them after they find it, and they have a showdown at the monastery on top of a mountain. And the woman's there with their crossbow, and she's hot. And then the BB figure skater thing is funny too.
That's it. Wow. Incredible.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Did it again. It's pretty close. I really
Yeah.
rushed some of the end there.
I think we could wrap up the show.
Yeah.
That was great. You did it. You said it all.
Can we talk about BB the figure skater?
Yes.
This is like the funniest James Bond scenes are him interacting with this girl to me.
It's so weird, and it's so.
Because she's
Not
supposed to be
cool.
16 years
Yeah,
old.
she's supposed to be
She
16.
acts like she's 7.
He looks like Grandpa Bond at this point.
She
Roger
acts like
Moore-
she's 7, but like has
Can I, Uncle?
developed.
Can I go
Yeah.
with Mr. Bond? Like, she's, what?
But like 7, but she like wants
Seven,
to have
but she's
sex.
hot. For,
Yeah,
but she's
yeah.
hot for old man bod. She really and this is like, I can't believe that Roger Moore's got 2 movies left in him, because he already
looks
looks
old as fuck in
very
this
old.
movie.
Like
Yeah.
Moneypenny looked like a grandma, and it didn't even seem weird because Roger Moore looks older than her by a lot.
Yeah.
It is.
Did you like that scene where she puts on the lipstick when he's about to walk in?
I know you did. Colin just watched that scene in slow motion for like 3 hours.
Guys, this is a family show.
Oh God.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, so little 16-year-old figure skater BB doll, one of the better names I think in this
BB doll, yeah.
just cheesy enough, but not too
Like
cheesy.
baby
Well,
doll.
because they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't stress it. You only hear her last name mentioned the one time.
Yeah. And she is totally into old dudes, but not the millionaire who's sponsoring her and is into her.
He's
She
too
only-
old.
He's too old and gross.
Looks the
and I think
same
she
age.
says that explicitly. and he actually looks. I thought he looked slightly younger than Bond. He's got grayer hair. He's not doing the Just for Men thing. But
He looks a little older just because his hair's gray.
yeah, exactly.
I think he's actually younger than Roger Moore in real life.
Would not.
Yeah,
surprise
they're
me.
very close to the same.
And as usual,
the characters are not.
like with any
And
woman.
BB and the other actress are only like a
2
year
years.
apart. 2
Yeah.
years. There you go.
And like with any Bond movie, immediately before he's even said anything, she just sees him and she's just like, "Oh, I want that."
Yep.
I don't even know. I haven't even been sexually awakened yet until
Yeah.
this moment when I saw this random old man that is a friend of my uncle's or whatever.
she nails it though. Like the scene that I think this character is great. I remember I remember growing up, right? Like this one I did not like very much when I was young. Like the movie overall. But then again I did because I remember really liking the girls. And to me, like I think I seem to remember I had a friend when I was young. I seem to remember he didn't like this one because he's like,
There's no spaceships.
No. He's like, she's too young and he's rejecting her. This shit is just weird. Like, it's not, it's not like, it needs to be the traditional, like, she's hot, she wants to have sex with Bond, and Bond wants to have sex with her. And, like, that's how it should go. But I was like, but this is, like, funny. But, like,
Bond doesn't get a lot of play in this one, not till the very end of the movie. He's
right, but
pretty
he
much
has sex
celibate.
with the Contessa.
Oh yeah, it's true.
I
forgot
left
all
her
about
out of the plot summary.
I forgot all about her. Yeah, at one point,
But
he
that's
is there
'cause I
with
was
poor,
rushed.
poor Liesel, the Contessa. Another Contessa. This is sort of a callback to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Where
This
he meets
whole movie is a
Contessa
callback to On Her Majesty's
He meets a
Secret
Contessa in a casino, and then he saves her life on a beach. But he actually doesn't save her life on the beach. She dies on the beach. But she's played by Cassandra Harris, who was the sister-in-law of Richard Harris,
And
and
was
later
married.
was the wife of Pierce Brosnan.
No,
No,
she was
she was married to him
currently
during-
the wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, after she was
Or concurrently.
after she was Richard Harris's
film.
sister-in-law, because
Oh, I
obviously Pierce Brosnan is not Richard Harris's brother. So
Or is he? But yeah, Pierce Brosnan came to the set and he met Cubby Broccoli, and they took, much
Yeah.
like BB looked at him, they looked at Roger Moore, they looked at Pierce Brosnan and fell in love, and they said,
I want that.
I want that.
and then our last Bond girl in this one was Melina, of course.
Melina's she's a really good Bond girl. She's one. I think
I would
one of
say
the
one of
better
the
ones.
hotter Bond girls, but one of the most boring Bond girls.
Disagree.
Boring?
She
She has a crossbow.
everything. Listen,
Doesn't do anything.
everything was set up for her to be an all-time great Bond girl. She has a crossbow. She's gorgeous. And then she delivers such a monotone, flat performance and such
Yeah.
a boring. She's one of the worst lead Bond girls ever.
There you
She is awesome.
She had it. She had it.
She's
this
so
was-
good.
She was hitting off a tee here, and she grounded into like an easy out. It was so bad. Her reaction to seeing her parents get blown away with a machine gun. She's just like sort of just vaguely looks around like, oh, bummer. It's
I
like-
guess they're dead
She
now.
didn't expect it to
Oh,
go
no.
down like that. Okay.
Yeah, she just sat there staring off, trying to conjure tears, and then she was like, "Oh, I just remembered I can't act."
Yeah, she was really bad.
She was
You just
terrible.
don't understand the level she's
She was
going to.
terrible, Colin. Terrible.
Very sexy, though. I'll give her that. One of the cooler parts, and just talking about her made me think of this. One of the cooler parts of the movie is the underwater scenes.
Yeah.
Like with them scuba diving. Do you know?
I was blown away by how good those look because I read.
I'm not kidding, yeah.
I read the whole thing that you're going to talk about.
Well, why don't you say
And
it?
I was so she had a sinus thing that she
Prevented
wouldn't
her.
allow her to hold her breath underwater for long periods of time, and yet they have to shoot these underwater scenes. So they shot the wide shots with body doubles, and then they shot the close-ups in the regular world with like
the regular world in
the
which we
regular-
live. The
you know,
non-water
the
world.
non-Aquaman world.
So as soon as you go in a pool, you're in another world.
Yeah, you're in the fish world.
That's how you
the fish world.
Wait,
That's how you feel about
you
it?
guys don't
What,
call
do
it
you
that?
freak out when people step in puddles? You're like, whoa, you're about to drift into another universe.
No,
could've
no,
gone to
not
Fish
there,
World.
but anywhere that it might piss off the fish. Yes.
Is this like Super Mario
Wait,
World? There's
what
like
is the distinction? Is if the water goes above your head level, is that you're in Fish World
No, I
or
would
in
say-
danger of being warped
I would
into
say
Fish
more than
World?
half of you. So like nip high is
Oh,
you're
really?
firmly in fish world. You're
Wow.
vulnerable to fish attack. All right.
what
so,
other worlds do you know of?
Anyways, well, obviously there's air world, but let's can we get to the point?
Is that the one we live in,
so
or is
they-
that like where
That's
the
like when you
planes
fall out of an
go?
airplane. You're in
Every-
air world.
everything before you hit the ground?
What does reality look like
So-
to you? Is it
so-
a side scroller?
Oh well,
Have you ever been to Antarctica?
it's ice world. Yeah.
Ice world.
All right, enough. So let's, yeah.
So they used a big fan and they
used a
blew her
fan,
hair.
and they shot it in slow motion, and they used like blue filters over the lights, and it looks amazing.
And they added
Yeah.
bubbles later.
It looks
using
real.
It looks great. Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
I was blown away.
I had read about it online before watching the movie and like couldn't remember the scene. And then when I saw it, I knew instantly.
I
and
thought it
was
was
like,
going to
wow.
look so cheesy. I was ready to like have some good thing to make. Fun
I don't
of,
think
and
if I
was
had
like,
read
wow,
that bit of
looks
trivia
great.
that I would have known.
I wouldn't have. I definitely wouldn't have. Very good.
I read it and I was like, it's too well done. Like it's hard to,
Whoever like came up with that and figured out how to shoot that, kudos.
yeah.
Yeah. So whoever came up with the cold open should be taken out and
Shot.
shot, and whoever came up with the underwater thing should be given a promotion immediately,
Right.
unless they're the same person, and then you got lucky, buddy.
I like pretty much all the supporting characters in this one.
Yeah, they're all really good.
Like really good. I mean, the villain is pretty cool. The white dove.
I thought the villain was even kind of a little milquetoast, kind
he
of
was
boring,
kind of
too.
generic, but
yeah.
Yeah.
he was all right, but he had some decent henchmen, not like super, but there was that like creepy one who looked like ugly Warren Zevon, and then there was
His henchmen were very much like the henchmen we've seen before, though. Like the glasses, a weird like
creepy guy with glasses.
creepy glasses guy, and then like your
Blonde.
prototypical blonde, big
Big.
dude. Yeah.
yeah. I put vague. The vague ethnic henchman was lame and short-lived. The guy who was at the very Scarface seeming '80s hitman party at the beginning.
Oh,
you mean
that guy, the Cuban
Hector
guy. Hector Gonzalez.
Yeah, Hector Gonzalez, and then they had the big German guy, the East German guy, who reminded me of like Robert Shaw's assassin, but like
Right.
more generic.
The Hector Gonzalez death is cool though. Like Melina hitting her mid-air when he's diving into his like sexy pool party.
With what?
The crossbow.
Yeah.
Crossbow bolt.
That was
See,
really
because
cool.
the crossbows don't use bullets; they use bolts.
Right.
They're more silent and like can be.
I like the part when
Deadly.
she went to the store and bought a crossbow that was like sitting in the in the window.
I don't travel with my crossbow. I can probably pick one up in
Well,
Italy.
it's because Bond dropped her crossbow when they ran off of the hitman thing. That could have been a family heirloom crossbow. I don't know.
That's true.
And he didn't have.
That was a
one.
real dick move.
Very dick move.
I-
Also, yeah, the guy who he had a couple of sidekicks in this one. He had Luigi, who met the fate of so many Bond sidekicks.
Luigi just seemed super chill.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, I'm a secret agent, but like we're having a good time.
but it's like I'm gonna enjoy myself, man. You know, like whatever. I can get you what you want. Who do you want to meet? I'm down.
And then, of
yeah.
course, the coolest of them all, Columbo.
Yeah,
Dude,
Milos
I
Columbo.
remember that he ate pistachios, but when I watched it today, I realized he literally eats a pistachio
In every
single time he is on camera.
He's
At
also-
least one pistachio.
He's also that actor. The only other thing that he's really known for is playing Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof, and I like to think of this as like a sequel to Fiddler on the Roof, where Tevye becomes a powerful crime lord.
In Greece?
Yeah, if I were a crime lord.
Where does Fiddler on the Roof take place?
Some pogrom somewhere, maybe Russia. I don't know. He moves at the end of the. They leave home at the end of the movie. They relocate.
I'm not telling you it's not possible. I'm just like
I-
trying to piece it together for myself.
I mean, I know it's not canon, but I can imagine it that way and enjoy it better.
No,
The
I'm
world
not
you
trying to
live
stop
in
you.
is incredible.
I'm not trying to stop you. He's side scrolling along. He's got a fiddle in one hand, a pistachio in the other.
They're narrowly avoiding Fish World as they travel.
He's jumping over Fish World.
Oh man, what else? Let me consult my notes here.
Okay.
We've got classic. We've got
All right, wait. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the connections between this movie and On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I am
There's like
starting to get
50.
annoyed now.
It's
Like
the same things.
we've had movies in the past that have borrowed from other Bond movies, and they have similar kind of plot lines. This was the first time it like really dawned on me that I was like, I've seen this before. Like we're at an Olympic Village again. There's a what do you call it? Not
Bobsled.
luge, bobsled.
they
scene.
worked some hockey into this one.
Yeah,
he gets
which
jumped
was-
by three.
That scene is
so
one of the worst scenes.
lame.
As
Oh
well.
yeah, that was one
is
of the worst scenes of this movie.
so
He
bad.
gets jumped by. So what happens is he's on the ice skating rink after he meets BB, right? And then
Well, he meets BB a second time there,
And-
he's
yeah, and-
he's coming back to talk to BB again.
and
'cause
everyone
he
leaves,
needs
and
more
he's
info.
left out on the rink, and somebody shuts off all the lights, and then 3 hockey players skate out onto the ice, and they have the jump on him, and they're all carrying sticks, and they're all wearing skates where he's just in flat shoes in the ice, and somehow he manages to kick all 3 of their asses. And listen, James Bond can kick anybody's ass anytime, but this seemed implausible.
Yeah.
This
Especially,
really was
especially with
stretching.
their opening move is like barely side checking him as they as they kind of swoosh by.
Yeah, they probably should have just clubbed him in the back of the head with those sticks.
Yeah, like
it was really
literally
a strategic mistake on their part.
Literally, you could swing the hockey stick and hit him in the head as hard as you can, and that would like cause enough bleeding in his brain to kill him.
Probably. Also, it's very hard to even stay standing when you're on the ice in flat shoes. So they should still probably win that fight, even with their strategic blunder.
But none of that is as bad as the fact that when he defeats each of them, he somehow punches them into the hockey goal, and we cut to the scoreboard, which adds goals to the scoreboard.
because apparently it's automated, I guess. I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it doesn't.
They brought the goal out with them. What did they connect it to?
What other similarities you got?
Besides the Olympic Village stuff, well, the reference we talked about earlier to his wife, which is
Liesel's really similar
Yeah,
to
the,
his
the
wife.
Countessa on the beach. Yep.
on the beach, right? What else?
Isn't the glasses killer guy
Just
like
the fact that
Also,
there's-
another raid on the boss's base with a group of soldiers that he sort of recruits from the underworld gang.
Yeah.
Milos
I'm
Colombo's
forgetting who the
underworld.
Oh yeah,
it's
Columbo
Blofeld.
is a lot like Teresa's father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right,
It's another
right.
gangster from the underworld who's got like
they
morals.
raid the
who starts
mountaintop
off
in
as
the
a
end.
potential enemy, and then Bond realizes he's actually an ally.
Right,
Because he's not such a
exactly.
bad guy.
I really like that the way they handled that plot point though. Is like
I do too.
The audience is like, okay, the White Dove is the real villain, and then
Yeah,
when
it's
you
a real
finally meet him, he's
switcheroo.
like, hey, we're here together. We're bros. We're having fun.
Yeah.
I'm eating pistachios. We got to take down the real bad guy.
I smuggle a little bit. I'm not dealing heroin
Yeah, he's
over
like,
here.
I'm not about this heroin stuff. You need to like look over here and see this Christados guy. He's like heroin city.
Okay, it took me a long time to realize what Christados' ultimate goal was. Like the whole movie goes, and I'm like,
He's selling the ATAC.
yeah, until he pulls out the ATAC at the end in the last scene, I was like, oh yeah, that thing. Now, why? Okay, so there's a whole sequence where Bond and Melina go underwater. They find the wreck, and they go and they pull out the
I wanted to
ATAC.
ask you, like, how did you feel about there being, several scuba scenes involved in this one?
They figured out how to not make scuba scenes totally boring. I thought the mini sub fight was pretty fucking cool.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that they really upped the ante here from like the Thunderball sequences. These were a lot better underwater. All the underwater stuff looked really good. I loved the scuba scenes. If you're asking, yes.
Just wanted you to admit it.
And that suit, the like bad guy suit. What's that called? The gym.
Oh yeah, the gym suit.
That was really cool too. Loved it.
Yeah.
The gym suit is like it looks like a space suit, basically, but it's
like an underwater
It's
suit.
an
Yeah,
underwater.
it's like an
suit.
old-fashioned diving suit, except it's more articulated than the old,
It's like a space suit,
It's
but
massive.
instead of meant for Space World, it's meant for Fish World.
Nailed it.
But anyway, yeah. So Bond gets the ATAC and then loses it to Christados, right?
Right.
My question is, did Christados sink the ship in the beginning? Was he
Yes.
the cause of
no,
it?
the ship sank by
Yes.
accident. The
No.
whole plot gets put
so
in
then,
motion.
if he sank it,
no.
why didn't he
He
just
sank
sink
it.
Colin, go ahead and say something stupid, and I'll tell you why you're wrong.
Okay, when they raid the heroin production plant or smuggling plant or
Those
whatever,
bombs?
the mines that were
mines.
used to bomb the boat are in there. He did do it. He doesn't know the exact location it happened.
So you're
So he
you're
waits
drawing
for
out,
Bond to get it.
So you're drawing out
Yeah.
a lot of subtext here. And now I'm not saying these movies all make sense, but there's nothing in the movie that suggests that he did it. Absolutely nothing. There's
The mines are the exact
No,
same
I
mines,
saw the
and
mines.
they make a specific note of like they shoot just shots of the mines,
well, that's
and
because
he like looks right at
That's
them.
because the mines blow up the factory at the end, so they have to like plant that mine because the mine is what they rig the explosives to blow up the factory. I'm just
true.
saying that
He doesn't use the mines help blow up the factory. He explodes the factory.
Well,
Glasses guy
maybe
explodes
they
the
don't-
factory on his own.
Yeah, but you also see the explosives attached directly to a giant mine.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the foreshadowing. But my greater point is that they don't explicate at any point.
There's like a
that he-
throwaway line about like
there
him
isn't-
doing something.
There's
like
no
that.
throwaway line about
I'm pretty
that.
sure there. I
There-
didn't
there
read the
isn't.
script this time.
But
I
here's
think there's a line.
here's why I don't believe that is true, and I know it's not in the movie, but I don't believe it's true. Just anyways, because the sinking of that ship was based on a real life incident where a British ship accidentally picked up a mine in its fishing nets and blew up and sank and killed a bunch of people. So I think that because he would have no way of being the first guy to get to the device, even if he knew exactly where it was. Like, it's just a bunch of people racing to pick this thing up.
But then, if he had nothing to do with the sinking of the ship, how did he even know about the ATAC and that it's sunk? And
Well, I mean, that's a good question. How would he even know to sink the ship if he didn't? Like,
yeah,
he's an
Well, he's
informed-
well-connected.
He's a well-connected guy.
Yeah, he sunk the ship though.
yeah, I'm pretty
He
sure
just
for the
didn't.
sake of the
he
movie,
just didn't
he would
get
have
to the shipwreck.
But why?
first.
But if he did, why didn't they ever say that or point that out?
They do. They imply it, and I
They
think there's a
imply it
line
in
of
the
dialogue.
beginning,
I think there's
too.
one line of dialogue that says something about.
But they don't even know that he's the guy who's looking for it until.
I think after he goes back and talks to her again, after he sees the mines there, I think he says something along the lines of like something about him working with Albania or whatever, and something like that.
All right, maybe.
the plot of this movie is not good.
It's good. It's really good.
Let's find some things that are good.
I like the plot of this one.
Let's talk about the action set pieces, okay?
Oh, I love
Yeah.
the car chase. I thought this was a
Which
good
the
car
Citron
chase.
in
one?
the beginning?
The one at the beginning and a little.
Oh,
yeah.
that was one of
Yeah.
my favorite parts
Yeah.
of the movie. The part, okay, so Bond has this sweet white Lotus, right?
that
And
part sucks. That's stupid.
what?
Why is your theft deterrent blowing the entire car up?
All right, Matt, tell us.
That's my
Matt,
favorite part.
explain it.
So yeah,
It's
so
a sweet white Lotus from the last movie.
right.
Pretty much.
Pretty
Like
much,
the same
yeah.
kind of car.
So Bond, like, he leaves it to go to the hitman party, as you called it, and these two like henchmen approach Bond's car, and there's a sticker that says, what does it say?
Theft, yeah, like some.
I should've wrote it down.
Theft deterrent, whatever.
It's like
Yeah,
burglar
theft
deterrent
deterrent, yeah.
or something. And the guy goes to break the window to break in, and the second he does it, the car explodes.
and his body like goes flying in
Flying.
like pieces and stuff. It is like one of the most brutal Bond kills ever.
Bond kills a lot of people in this movie.
But none of them are that graphic. Like he had to kill this like one guy. I don't even think he killed the other henchman who was standing a little farther away.
Like 5 feet away.
What's the cost to replace one window versus the cost?
But then Bond
To
is forced.
replace the whole
Bond and Melina are forced to flee in her tiny shit box, this little
a
yellow
Citron.
yellow Citron, and they go down this windy hill, and that car takes a lot of abuse and just keeps driving.
It looks like a
great.
little yellow like VW bug kind of a thing.
It looks like a Citron.
Yeah, it's a tiny yellow car, and it rolls over several times. It falls down mountains. It does all these different things. It falls on its side at one point, and Bond just hops out and pushes it back onto its
Oh,
wheels.
the villagers. I love that.
They all
Like
help.
when they crash the Citron, they have a few seconds because a bus is in the way of their pursuers, and the villagers just come out and roll their car back over and then push start it for them.
Like, yeah, this happens all the time. We get Citrons tipping over on this thing.
yeah, he says
constantly.
nothing to them.
Yeah,
Like,
he
they're just like,
volunteer
oh,
to- they're like,
hey,
"Hey,
come on,
what-
get
what
back out
country are they
there.
in?" I'm not even sure what
Get
accent
back
they do.
out there. Oh, they're in
It is.
they're in Spain.
It is such a low.
They're actually in Greece, but they're in the
Saying-
story
yeah.
in Spain.
Yeah, it's a low speed chase, but it's actually it's pretty fun.
Now,
It's pretty cool.
I
And
have a
then
question. I think I know
the
the
olive
answer.
growers is a cool part of it because by the time the chase finishes, there's a bunch of people harvesting olives by catching them in nets as they fall out of the tree, and then the enemy's car just like falls into the nets with like the bad guys in it.
And Jaws walks out unscathed. Just kidding.
No, Jaws
Just
isn't.
kidding.
Well, I think you just answered my question, but so my Blu-ray like glitched out during this part, so I didn't get to see. I had to like skip ahead, so I didn't get to see the end of the chase, like how they got rid of the bad
you probably
guys.
missed a quip. I think he says a line when they.
No, the quips are
because
so
they're
bad in this movie.
because they're harvesting the olives, and then the bad guys drop into the olive net, and I think he says
Like, that's the pits or something.
no,
Stupid.
it's not that bad. It's not. It's maybe not better, but it's not that. It's fuck. What does he say? I don't know.
We're
It's pretty
not
funny.
good at writing things down.
That was one of my favorite quips, though, but I forgot it.
It was one of your favorite quips, and you forgot it. Jesus.
So they get stuck in a net.
He doesn't have good quips in this one.
No,
I
it
feel like there's a few parts in this movie where the getaway or like the way sequences end is really lackluster. Like, do you remember there's a part when they
Like
have
the hockey
scuba
scene when he scores 3 goals, and it's like, who the fuck is keeping score?
Yeah.
And he just walks out.
Do you remember the scuba part when they're in the 2-man ship? I don't know what you call it, like the
Mini sub.
mini sub, and then the bad guy mini sub comes out, and they have like a mini sub battle.
Yeah.
And then
I find that part kind of boring.
Bond,
I thought that was pretty
they
good.
basically push the other bad guy into like the hole in the
Yeah.
St. George ship,
Yeah.
and then like essentially getting him stuck in there. And then Bond's ship backs out and like swims away, and then they show the other guy just come right out of the hole, and then you never see that guy again.
Yeah.
What was that? What kind of a like end to a sequence was that? It was
I don't
pretty
know.
weird.
Well, immediately he gets captured by, as soon as they dock the sub, he gets captured by Cristados, who took over Melina's parents' boat.
Right.
While they weren't,
While they were under.
while
the
they
water.
were in the other world.
While they were in Fish World.
So, yeah. Once
You've returned from Fish World, Mr. Bond. Somehow you're unscathed.
I like the attack in the warehouse when all the
Yeah, that was one of the
big
cooler
guys-
parts.
It went on a little too long, like almost all of these big Bond battles.
But it ended with a big boom.
ended with a big explosion. Yeah, that was
Big
nice.
go boom.
And it's you get to see Columbo in action.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
eating pistachios the whole time, using the pistachios as part of his tactics.
They step on him it alerts him.
He throws a
their
bunch of
whereabouts.
pistachios on the ground, so when the baddies step on them, he can hear the crunch crunch.
It's a perfectly good waste of pistachios, if you ask me. But
Yeah, but this guy's got a ton of them somehow.
Oh, you know what else I liked?
Melina brings them to him. Did you see that? Who was she bringing pistachios to in the beginning? Right before her
No,
parents
her
get
parents.
killed.
She was bringing her parents stuff, and then they died, and it's tragic. And she's very emotional about it.
Too
even though you
emotional to
can't
emote.
see it.
Yeah.
I saw her emotion.
I love the
Somehow.
rock climbing scene too. I thought that was pretty good.
That's-
and also like pretty authentic. Like he was wearing real rock climbing shoes. He was like,
Like this one, we don't have Ken Adam anymore. On all the ones that don't have him, their locations are like really making up for it.
oh yeah, the St.
And
Cyril's
locations in
monastery
this
was
are
freaking
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
That
a real place.
It's
That's
so
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Crazy monastery that's like this huge castle on the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Just the most precipitous, crazy.
But it's not a mountain
it's not
that
a
you
mountain.
could climb up. It's
Right.
like
It's like
a
not
rock.
at this angle. It's like a
Yeah,
straight.
it's like
how do you
most
describe
mountains
that?
are like wider at the bottom than at the top. This isn't one of those kind of
Yeah, it's
mountains.
wider
Yeah.
at the top than the
Yeah.
bottom. It looks like
Like how must they have
Like a
built
giant
that?
penis.
Yeah, a giant.
It's a penis-shaped mountain.
But
so it's
that would be that wouldn't be like I don't think a penis would work well being shaped so
wider at the bottom than at the
rockily.
top. Colin, is that what we're saying?
it doesn't look exactly like a penis. You
It
can
doesn't
see it
look
as
e-
a penis.
You could see it as a penis. I mean, if you put a monastery on the top of a penis, I think it would look similar to that.
Harris, do you see mountains as giant penises?
I usually see them as boobs, which is what was so confusing about this one.
Have you ever done the Rorschach? Is it all just penis boob, or is it penis penis?
I mean,
penis?
how many categories are there?
Fish. That's a fish.
You get scared at first. Oh, I thought it was from Fish World, but it's a penis.
Oh man.
What were we talking? Oh yeah, the monastery. That's one of the coolest locations. It's hard for me to believe that place is real.
It's in
so
Greece?
crazy looking. Yeah, it's in Greece. And then all the other is just like the Greek Isles stuff, the little villages, the Italian town with like the winter sports complex. which had the Olympics in 1956, which is interesting because, like, the Winter Olympics in 1956, like, people probably still really cared, but, like, you know, you think about it today, it's, like, on TV in, like, 1956, like, it's probably just, like, you know.
You had to read about it weeks later in the paper.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, hey, we won some medals.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, they're playing the Olympics in winter now? That's right, you see?
Oh, speaking of the Winter Olympics, one of the weirdest moments, and maybe one of you guys can explain this to me because I felt like I freaking missed something. When he cuts in line to go off the ski jump, Bond is escaping evil Warren Zevon and the big German guy, and he gets up to the top of a ski jump, and he goes off the ski jump, and as he's halfway down, some random dude jumps on the middle of the ski jump and like bumps him. And I was like, where did that guy come from?
That was another assassin.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought, but
Two people follow him up the elevator.
That was,
one of them follows
Charles-
him directly, and the other one veers right.
It's Charles Dance. He's the
Tywin Lannister.
Tywin Lannister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looked pissed the entire time.
Yeah,
But so
he doesn't
wait,
look like he
So-
looks like in Game of Thrones. Like,
Could-
it's hard to recognize him to me.
'cause
Really?
I missed
I
that.
think he looks exactly.
Oh
the
yeah, I
same.
thought I was surprised how he didn't
was like,
look
who is
much
this
younger.
guy?
I thought he was going to look like a little.
Because I
kid.
read he was in the movie, and I'm like, what?
He's got a good like evil face. I thought he would
Yeah.
have
Oh, yeah.
been a good like Bond main.
No, he
villain.
looked good as a henchman.
he's-
I just didn't
What-
see him
he
as the
was
same
in-
guy.
Was he in Last Action Hero too?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, classic
Oh,
evil
yeah,
face.
Last
He's the
Action
one-eyed-
Hero.
Yeah,
So
yeah, has
good
the
in
glass
that.
eye. Yeah, absolutely.
Really good in that.
But yeah, what I didn't understand about that is that the guy doesn't jump out from halfway down the ski jump and like grab Bond or tackle him or attack him or something. He just sort of bumps him, and I didn't catch that it was one of the assassins that had. I just thought it was some guy who was pissed that Bond cut in line. It was like, no, my ski jump turn.
Okay, I like the way this scene ends.
They should have
though.
done that. It could have been what's his name, Pepper from the previous movie.
Yeah.
JW Pepper.
It's so-
Get out of my way! It's my turn.
I've been waiting in line all day, boy.
I thought there's no snow in Louisiana. I thought I'd do ski jump.
This is a good segment. Like, where can you stick JW Pepper in every Bond film?
Oh, there you go. So I think I think the Olympic scene is definitely where
Wherever
fits in
tourists
here.
are,
Yeah.
there he is.
But I like the way this scene ends. After he ski jumps, he then ski jumps over the biathlon guy, who's the big blonde assassin we've seen before. He does biathlon in this one, if we hadn't mentioned that.
And his go-to move is that whenever he's close by, he just starts throwing his personal possessions at Bond.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
throws
So-
a motorcycle at him later.
No, that's what I'm talking. That's what I was gonna say. Is after Bond jumps over him, he's bent his gun and knocked him over off his motorcycle, and he goes to shoot him, and the gun's bent, and he throws the gun at him, and Bond's like putting his skis back on, like, oh fuck, whatever.
He throws it,
And
but
then
he's
he
like way
picks up-
too far away.
Yeah,
to
and then he
reach
picks
him.
up his motorcycle.
Well, he's
and
like 20
throws
feet
it.
away, and he can only throw these things about like 5 feet. But he actually throws stuff later too. He throws stuff in the last
He
fight.
picks up a
Like, he's-
in the final fight. He
in the
picks
final
up a
fight
big
when he's
rock or
fighting
something.
Oh, and
he's-
that's what
he's
kills
throwing
him.
throwing like random crap. Like that was his go-to move. Is like
Like,
he's
picture
really
them
good
writing
at-
this guy. They're like, all right, he's a sidekick. He's blonde. What's like his thing?
What's his
Oh,
power?
He throws stuff. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
we already had the guy throwing a hat. What does this guy throw? Oh, just anything. Just whatever he sees.
You don't think it was somehow based on their like prejudice about East Germans?
that they're like throwing things.
It's like East Germany. As soon as they went communist, they just started throwing things around.
just throwing things everywhere. It's just like,
like
an East,
common sense.
just
come on.
like an East German to throw stuff.
No, it's probably the first thing.
Oh, we also forgot to mention one of the dumbest things in this entire movie, full of dumb things. The umbrella parachute. Oh, sorry.
Harris has just hit himself in the face with his microphone.
It happens more often than you'd think. The umbrella parachute when they're at the the hitman pool party.
That was a sweet move.
Yeah, he grabs an umbrella to fight off the guys who are chasing him, and then he runs over to a wall. It's like maybe a 8-foot drop or something, and he opens the parachute. He opens the umbrella and then tries to float down like Mary Poppins.
When I saw that, I said, that would not do anything.
And it doesn't look like it does either. They didn't even make it look like he floated gracefully to the ground.
Look, if
he
you-
just sort of falls at a normal
If you're gonna drop down one story, it'll cushion your fall a little bit if you have a big umbrella. And that wasn't like a walk around umbrella. That was like an outdoor
it was
patio
like a table
umbrella.
Yeah, it was at least
And
not just normal.
what the
umbrella.
hell kind of party was that? Like, where did all those chicks come from? Are his friends other assassins? Who are those guys?
Also, important to point out, the first and as far as I know, only transgender Bond girl is in that scene.
Yeah, I read
Wearing
about that.
Wearing a white string bikini.
Yeah, I read that too. I was trying to find her. I couldn't
You,
find her.
she's walking through at one point. You can tell because she's not wearing much of a bikini, and you can't tell that way. You can tell because she's not wearing much of a bikini, and her boobs are like mini basketballs. They are so fake.
Oh, I think she was walking past him.
Yeah,
right?
she walked past camera.
Because there was another
at
girl
one
in a
point.
white bikini sitting down. I was like, is that her? She's really hot.
Yeah, she was totally passing if that was her. But no, I think she's the one with the basketball boobs.
I didn't notice in the scene itself, but I like looked up the photo, the stock photo on the Google. I googled the photo, and I was like, okay, that's her.
There you go.
There she is, or he is.
Did you notice at the party when he gets paid off by the glasses guy, he like throws little stacks of cash to some of the girls, and then when the glasses guy and his like henchmen like leave, they take their
takes
money, back away.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I
It's
also
kinda
like
funny.
Q showing up in the confessional booth. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, so the actor who played M passed away before he could start shooting this movie. So to pay respects to him, they just didn't have the character in the movie, and so Q took a larger role, and that's why we see so much of him.
The Q scene with that super advanced high tech computer.
Oh God, I hated that scene.
Oh, the identigraph,
Exactly.
which is basically like a sketch artist but a computer.
So stupid.
But the thing he puts that big white disc thing, that's like a floppy disk.
Yeah.
And it was
But it's like the size of a table.
And it was replaced by floppy disks like a year later.
Yeah, like in a year. It was obsolete. It's
Yeah.
bigger. It's bigger than any like object we have on this table.
Yeah. What about the music? I know we're out of the 70s, but does this music seem like it's just getting super funky to you guys?
I hated the soundtrack.
It was awful. The ski chase music sounded like a cheesy 80s like TV show theme, like from the A-Team or Riptide or something. But then also like the car chase, it's like you had like James Bond theme, but with hot guitar licks and like wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
I remember in particular the scene when Bond is like trying to get away from the henchmen and he's going up the ski line, like and the guys are following him. The music was really like out of place, just a lot of strange like sounds. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it was trying to be like spooky, I think, but it didn't fit for the scene. It was supposed to be a little more like intense, like will he get away? But it was more I don't know, just
The music was not
obscure.
great. Not great.
I don't know. I feel indifferent towards it. Like I don't hate it.
I
observe the differences.
The composer's name was Bill Conti, and it was the only time that he scored a Bond film. Usually the composers do it like a couple movies.
Blondie did a version of the song.
Oh, yeah.
That was an interesting fact.
And they turned it down. They turned down the offer when they found out that they wanted them to sing the song over Bill Conti's like version of it.
I thought they did a different song and they wanted them to sing this song.
This song,
Yeah.
yeah.
They had written their own song called For Your Eyes Only. and-
Right, that's what it was, yeah.
And they didn't want to sing somebody else's stupid song. Good for Blondie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those going forward, I think, where now it's become, at least in, I don't know, do you guys know like how they do it? They put the offer out there, or they say like, we're looking for a song, this is the name of the movie, and they hire like 5 or so artists to go record a song, and then they choose the one that they like.
Well, it seems like there's been a few of these so far in the Bond things, whether by intentionally or by
there
accident.
was
We've
the
had a couple
Alice
where
Cooper
there,
one?
yeah, we've had a few where there was like a couple of people composed or created songs with the intention of
I
making
guess
it
maybe
the
they've
Bond
done
theme.
it since the beginning.
So, well, I think it's always, the idea is out there. They usually say what the next movie is going to be, so people sort of could have at it. You think we've made our way through to the finale here? Anything else we want to cover?
Well, did we talked about the girls.
Yeah,
We talked
I
about
would-
the villains mostly.
I
We
realize
don't
you
need to-
don't think she was a good actress, but the crossbow thing is cool, and I think she was great. And
Yeah,
then,
but I feel like that covered it.
well,
we
but
said all
I
those
wanted to
things
talk
already.
more about BB Doll.
She was horrible. I can't believe you liked her. Every time she was
Okay,
on screen,
I
was like,
remember like as a kid really liking her because she was like closer to my age.
Yeah, but she wouldn't have been into you. She doesn't like little boys. She's like
Also,
she's got
I
a
was
grandpa
like
fetish.
I was like not even born in 1981.
when she's on screen with Bond, he comes across as like the weird, like creepy uncle who
Yeah.
touches you.
It's
That's
or who declines to touch you, but kind of his heart's not in it.
Yeah.
Like,
He's only declining because your mom's standing right there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking weird.
It's really weird. But
but she's interesting. She was in what was that other movie? I watched the Siskel and Ebert review of like another movie she was in.
Well,
and
Ice
it was
Castles
really,
with Robbie Benson?
No, not Ice Castles. It was with Betty Davis was in it, and it was like a Disney horror movie from like '82 or something like that. And it was hilarious. I didn't realize Ebert used to basically have Lego hair, but like advanced Lego hair.
Yeah.
You mean like with like the swirl kind of?
Yeah,
Like, it looks like a swirly.
yeah, but it was like bigger and like
Yeah, it was like the perfect shape, and it looked like it had been stuck onto his head by a giant thumb.
yeah, yeah. It was like better than Lego hair though. It was like it was like Lego hair plus.
All right.
All right.
All right, now we can move on.
Well, thank God we got that in.
Yeah, she didn't. I mean, like I said, I thought she was really pretty, the main girl, Melina, but just totally unmemorable. I can't think of anything that she.
I've actually forgotten
says.
even how she looks at this point.
Yeah, she's got really soft features.
I think
The eyes are
really
a
nice long
nose.
hair.
I
She does have a
believe
nose.
Long hair.
She does have long hair, like really long.
Yeah, it's really long.
So the good guys storm the monastery.
Yeah.
Bond does some rock climbing.
Well, the only way
takes
up to the monastery is a like basket. What do you call that?
Yeah, they got like a little.
It's an elevator, but
like
it's
it's
a
pulled-
basket
but it's
on a
like
rope.
a hand.
Pulled
Yeah,
up
yeah,
on
it's
a
like a
fire
dumbwaiter
rope, yeah.
type of thing.
Exactly.
And Bond has to scale up first to get the dumbwaiter to pull everyone else up in the dumbwaiter.
I don't exactly understand the physics of how Bond was able to reach that henchman who was like slowly chipping away at his rope and his,
That's
and
because one scene, one was a rock climber, and the other was like him, like 8 feet in the air, like shooting the close-ups.
yeah.
Well, I thought the rock climbing looked really good, and they had that fall where he fell a long damn way, and that's like a serious, like that's a real. I've fallen like I think maybe 15 feet, something like that.
On a rope like that?
Yeah, rock climbing, and that was like it was.
What is your life?
It was at the
Harris?
beginning of the climb, so that was like I fell that far when I was like 20 feet off the ground, so it wasn't nearly as like this was a guy falling like, and that hurt, and this guy fell like 40 feet.
You
or
can
something.
die like that.
Yeah, just like from the rope snapping, like not just from falling off the mountain.
The rope will snap your bones.
Yeah, it was like that was I was surprised when he fell. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be good," and then I was like, "Holy shit, is that guy okay?"
Yeah, it's a
that
great
was
stunt.
for
and
real.
then the
fall.
other guy falls off too.
The other guy falls off later. Bond throws him off because that was a good move. That was like a suspenseful scene where Bond is climbing on the ropes and this guy's trying to, kick his ropes free.
I was watching it today, and it's a good scene, but it does not age well. Because I remember, of all the times I've watched this movie, I think of it as having slow pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Like after.
It does.
After they
A
have
lot
to
of
go
you could
find
accuse
the
a lot of the
ATAC.
Bond movies of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, of course, yeah. And that's kind of one of the things from the earlier ones that like stuck out to me is when they have, slow pacing. And this one, the second half is like after they have to go find the ATAC underwater, and then he has to climb a mountain. The way that's all shot is like it would be shot and edited with a faster pace than it was. I think in 81 now, but it's still a really strong scene because the imagery of that location and is just stands out so much, and it's like, let's have him climb to the top of it.
I disagree. I thought the scene was pretty intense, like thrilling. I didn't think the pacing was off. I mean, I understand modern like movie shooting styles are different, and it would definitely be different if done today. It would be like Tom Cruise, and there'd be like helicopters, like up and above and around. But also, I think I had read that Roger Moore is like afraid of heights, or he has vertigo, or something like that.
Yeah.
So they were probably limited in what they could do close-up wise, but. I mean, I bought it. Aside from the physics of him falling down the mountain, or falling like 15
and then climbing
feet,
up,
and then suddenly he's
40
there,
feet, and then he climbs back up and like that, like a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But I thought that was pretty intense when the guy was trying to knock him off, and he had to get there before he got the last, a little thing that was holding his rope in. And then I didn't think they overstayed their welcome. Finally, I didn't get bored in the final battle.
After they get to the top,
like once they get to the top, they sort of just get into the fight. They get it over with. My only complaint, it's kind of a quibble, but at the end when Columbo kills, what's his name?
Christados.
that whole that was such a poorly edited, chopped up. I didn't know what the hell was happening for most of that fight and for the end thing.
Yeah, their blocking wasn't.
Yeah,
good.
their blocking was terrible, and just the editing was just so cutty.
And it's also a
the editing was pretty
subpar
decent in
death
this,
for
so-
the main villain. I
Right.
mean, he's a subpar villain, so I guess the death
Yeah.
matched the character.
Yeah, he's
but
another shitty
I
Blofeld
thought-
knockoff. And
I thought it's a huge. You're on a giant mountain. This guy's falling off.
yeah,
this mountain,
exactly.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, it's like Chekhov's gun. You can't have a big mountain at the end of a Bond scene
You
without
can't
the bad
have
guy
a big
falling
penis
off it.
growing out of the ground without someone
Yeah,
falling off.
Some guy's got to fall off that
or
penis.
getting peed on or
In-
something.
instead, they focused on who's got the best motive for killing him. You know what I mean?
Right.
She wants revenge. This other guy's his rival, and Bond is supposed to kill the bad guy.
And they all team up to kill him.
Yeah,
Kind of. Although Bond
And-
just kills a German.
That is another thing too. Like when Bond doesn't kill the bad guy, I feel like something is taken away. You know, you want to see the hero
Yeah.
kill the bad guy.
Yep.
Right?
And they give him
I,
this
I like it when the bad guy is partially responsible for his own demise, that classic
Yes.
thing
Right.
where he's
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, and
like
it's
the henchman,
backfired
the
on me.
henchman
Yeah.
lifting up the rock.
not the most clever finale. Also, they're spending all this time trying to get this stupid machine, and in the end, he just smashes it, and it's like, oh shit, you could just smash this thing?
Well, that's
Détente.
that's
they
because the
didn't-
KGB guy could have just shot him
yeah, but I
and
mean,
taken it.
there's a lot of other opportunities to just smash this thing and get it over with.
Well, he's supposed to bring it back to him to be like, "Hey, I did the
So
job.
basically, he
I wasn't
failed.
just out there banging. I actually did the job."
Like usual.
Not just plowing the field.
But instead, he destroys it and he goes off to go have sex with her.
Yeah, he finally
which
earned
is
it.
how the movie ends.
Yes, and then of course we get our button.
Margaret Thatcher.
the prime minister.
Our button is Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher for some reason.
So
and that is
Why would
so,
you think a parrot was him?
So dumb.
so dumb. So they set up a parrot earlier in the movie. Whose parrot was it?
It's
It's the father, Havelock's the woman's father's
yeah,
parrot.
Melina's father.
And it's like your classic parrot. You know, it's like,
Polly want a cracker.
Yeah.
But it repeats everything. So
Give us
when-
a kiss. Give us a kiss.
Yeah, so when they take
Do me
the
hard.
ATAC
Do
to
me
the
hard.
when they take the ATAC to the monastery, it repeats that, and so they know where to go.
Which is dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb. The whole parrot thing is dumb.
Yeah. So
yeah,
then at the
there's
end,
note to screenwriters out there: don't use parrots in your movies. Just don't.
at the
It's
end,
lazy.
Q sets up a communication so that
Yeah.
Margaret Thatcher could speak to Bond on the phone. And
They call
thank
him on the 1981 version of the satellite watch phone.
right. And Bond takes his watch
Never
off.
suspecting that he might be boning somebody after he's just completed a mission.
No, that
That's
happens
never happened
every
before.
single time. They patch him through to the prime minister.
Just patch him directly through
He
the
won't
most
be
important
having
people
se-
you
he
can
won't be
find.
right in the middle of having sex.
We've
this
gathered the most
time.
important people in the world in this room. Let's just patch him through without checking it first. I'm sure he's not mid-bone.
So yeah.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? I mean, it happens
I mean,
every
he's
time.
due.
So yeah,
He's
it probably
foiled
won't
again.
happen.
It's like he can't be having sex every time he's not on the job.
We really need to fire this guy. So yeah, Margaret
yeah.
Thatcher talks to a parrot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
So yeah, that's the end of the movie, and Bond bangs the crap out of her, and he'll be
They go
back.
they go
in-
underwater naked to do it
Oh yeah, they do.
in the moonlight.
True.
And she says, "For your eyes only," and then takes her clothes off,
That's right.
Yep.
which is really what the title means. What's the next movie after this? Oh, they say Octopussy.
Octopussy.
Great title.
Great title.
Yeah.
Cool. Would you guys rate this movie?
I don't want to go first.
I'll go first. I was feeling generous. I actually enjoyed this. I probably rated it too highly after talking it over. I should have probably gone one lower, but I'm going to stick with my initial gut reaction, which was a 006. Surprisingly solid entry. It's got a terrible opening, mediocre finale, but I was entertained for like the entirety of the middle. And some of it hasn't aged well, but it was one of the less goofy Moore movies, which is really saying something.
Yeah.
It's a low bar, but
I think coming off a classic like Moonraker, it's hard for me to like a movie like this. But
It's hard for you to like it at all.
I did thoroughly
Coming off
enjoy it.
Moonraker, everything else is shit.
guys are just trying to agitate me now.
It felt long to me, but that's only because I had to watch it in like I have to keep stopping, so it felt like it was 4 hours long. And there were parts where I was bored, and those were the parts where I felt like I'd seen this movie before. I was like, I've seen a chase through an Olympic Village before. This has been done. But other than that, I thought it was shot really nice. I liked all the side characters, like you said, the girls, the villains. Even though the villain, I don't know, I had remembered this villain being better from the previous time I've seen this movie. But I like the end sequence. I like the locations. I like the song a lot. I actually like the cold open a little bit. It is silly. I mean, I'd say I like it as much as I don't like it.
Shame on you. Just shame on you.
I don't know what that means.
I'm kind of in between.
Okay.
But yeah, I also gave it a 006.
Okay. Truly middle of the road stuff. All right, Colin.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
Go ahead, bust out your 009, you overrater. you soft touch.
I was thinking about overgrading it. I'm going back and forth between two numbers right now, but I just looking back, this one there's a bunch of stuff that just is not good about it. It is like that. It has problems with the pacing. It does feel too long. It can be boring because it is a bunch of stuff you've seen before. That being said, it's really good for the Bond fan who wants to watch it passively. Like this
doing your taxes or something.
Yeah, as background noise, as a background noise kind of Bond film, this one is like one of the better ones.
You're literally never missing anything.
Yeah, because you've seen it all before, or it's like, going slowly, so you get to see the beginning, middle, or end of whatever it is. And but it has a bunch of problems, stuff that's not good. But it does have all these little things that like endears it to you. There's like between the side characters and the girls, there's gonna be one that you like a lot. You know what I mean? Even if you don't like if you don't like all the girls, you're gonna like one of the like the henchmen or
Luigi,
the buddies, the buddy cops. And even if you don't think that the one girl is a good actress, you'll probably like the Liesel girl, or you'll.
Are you stalling so you don't have to give your rating?
No.
Okay.
You guys got to say stuff about your rating. Wait, since when is it like, okay, go 6? Okay, go to next one 6. Okay,
No,
go
continue.
We
next
have
one
to
6.
validate our decision.
Yeah, I have to.
Albeit faster, Colin.
All right. Well, I'm between 6 and 7 now. I really do like this one a lot in a lot of ways, and I really don't like it a lot in a lot of ways. But overall, I like it better because of that. The song, this is one of the good ones. If you want to take a nap, you should put this one on.
The song or the movie?
The movie.
Oh, I thought it
But
was
the
your
song,
summation.
the song is a good nap song too. This is a really good nap song, and I feel like that is an insult to some musicians
has
out
Colin
there.
ever rated anything below like a 5? What is a low
I can tell
rating
you.
for you?
Yeah,
I feel like none of these things.
I have all the ratings here in front of me.
Oh my god.
Colin gave From Russia with Love a 4.
Okay, yeah.
He gave
And he hated that.
Her Majesty's Secret Service 002.
Ooh,
Damn.
wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And that's it.
Well, there
Everything
you
else
go.
is a 5 or above.
Everything else is like high ratings. Okay.
Well, I kind of want to give this one a 6.
Trip 6.
Yeah,
There you go.
6.
There you have it, folks. In the afterglow of the radioactive turd that is Moonraker, we all overrate this mediocrity.
I mean, I want to give it a 7 because I think BB Doll and Melina are great, and Columbo eating
Too late, no
pistachios.
take back.
You already
is
said
awesome.
6. Trip 6.
Yeah,
The Sign of the Beast.
License to watch issued.
yeah. License to watch issued for sure,
Yeah, issued.
especially if you want to take a nap.
That is a ringing endorsement.
No, but if you've seen this one more than once and you have it on, it's awesome to take a nap too.
This might be better if you nap at the right strategic moment, even watching it the first time.
Yeah, this movie was mediocre.
If you could find a way to nap it through the cold open,
It has
you
some-
could totally nail this. Like, just start
Yeah.
napping and then wake up somewhere in the middle, and then fall asleep before the end.
Wait, have I seen this before? Doesn't matter. I'm going back to sleep.
A lot of times that sounds insulting, but some things need to be like good with nap time. You know?
Yeah. You know,
Like this
I
podcast.
was about to ask.
Yeah.
like,
Are you
I feel
sleeping
like
now?
most Bond movies have like one thing that you remember that's like the iconic thing
Oh yeah,
from
what
that
is
movie.
that for this?
I think it's the poster.
Yeah,
the
really. And
poster.
that is saying something about the movie if the most
Fascinating.
memorable thing about the movie is something that isn't actually in the movie.
Yeah.
I'd say it's the crossbow girl.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be. The underwater stuff, maybe.
For you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw this when I was younger, and I usually every movie I have at least
the
one
mountain,
memory of
the mountain, because I remember thinking like this place can't be real. Like what is that
Yeah,
place?
the mountain is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the rock climbing stuff.
But that doesn't. To me, you think of that separately than the movie itself.
No, you know what it is? I do know what I always remember about this and what I remembered from watching it when I was a kid. That stupid fucking cold open.
Yep.
That is what's the most memorable thing about this movie. The trash cold open.
Yep.
But you guys didn't think that like BB Doll was some kind of
Oh my God,
like,
you would be doll. I'm getting tired.
She's taking the place of
I
Moneypenny
know.
because Moneypenny's too old
Moneypenny
now.
aged out and you go right for the bottom. Well, at least this one will last a while. You're getting them young, Colin.
No, but like you know how Robin is like so Batman is relatable to the readers. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like they like
You have lost
like
me
they
so
added
long
Robin
ago,
to
this BB
Batman
Doll.
because like Batman's readers are like teenage boys, right? So like BB Doll is the like sexual Robin of the James Bond fans because
That
like a
should be on
lot
the
of James
poster for
Bond
this.
fans, just a lot of James Bond fans are like what 16-year-old boys, right?
Hmm.
So she's like a 16-year-old girl who really wants to have sex.
And this is what appeals to you about this
And
movie.
James-
I
This is
could
why it's
see
almost a
how
7.
watching her as a kid, like you might be into that, and you're like, I like this movie because that girl's hot and I want to bang her.
Oh.
But as an adult,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
Oh my God! Let's wrap it up before Colin says some other stuff about BB Doll and it gets really uncomfortable.
I understand that. I just thought, like this was
Colin. Today's climate just doesn't call for your tasteless
That's
comments.
not what I meant. I feel like you guys are misconstruing the discussion I'm trying to have here. I just thought
We've called the authorities.
That's not what I meant.
Quick, Colin, escape to Fish World.
All right, let's escape to Fish World.
I need a nipple high puddle of water so I can get out.
All right, we'll return with Octopussy.